Black Panther is coming to the Marvel's Avengers video game very soon. T'Challa the Black Panther is one of the most popular characters in superhero media and is one of the most asked additions to the game. But we still have some time to go until his DLC expansion is finally released. So in today's video, I wanted to speculate on what I think his potential moveset could be when he's finally added to the game.
Stars and Stripes!
Hello and welcome to another Carrot Scraps video, and by another, I mean the 63rd. So before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's get a couple things out of the way. I want to be very clear, all my predictions in this video are guesswork. Speculation based on my time playing Marvel's Avengers, my time playing as Black Panther in other video games, and my knowledge of the character based on comics, movies, and cartoons. In addition, some of my predictions will be what I think is most likely to come to the game, and other predictions will be less likely, but what I think would be really cool to see regardless. This is also by no means a comprehensive moveset prediction, but I hope you find my speculations somewhat interesting. The final and most important note about this video is you'll be seeing a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom footage, and I think it's important to point out that Kyle is going to be playing and he is terrible at this game, so please excuse him.
Why do you always do that to me?
What? I'm trying to be fair. I mean, look at this. This gameplay is terrible.
It's not that I'm bad at the game, it's that I don't know how to play as Black Panther.
Well, then just try better. Try harder. Try with the next match. Do the next match and try way harder than you're already doing, because so far, it's not coming out good on the capture, okay?
You literally just dropped the controller in my lap and said, "Yo, I need you to play right now."
All right, I'm gonna get back to this.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Whatever. I'm gonna do another match.
Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the Black Panther's potential moveset. Alright, let's start first with traversal. So other than Spider-Man, I think Black Panther will be one of the most agile characters in the game. And honestly, he's probably going to be even more agile than Spider-Man. So first of all, I do think that it's possible that T'Challa will inherit the wall run ability present with Clint and Cap already. But I also think that other than that ability, I think it's possible that his character could scale most walls in the game, using the front or back claws of his costume. In essence, Black Panther could climb walls that most characters in the game couldn't even jump. At the very least, I think it would be interesting if the Black Panther could climb double the amount of what most characters can jump, if that makes sense. Especially Captain America, who can jump twice. If T'Challa was this agile as a character, I think it would really serve to illustrate how unique he could be compared to the other characters already present in the game. Obviously, combat and their movesets are what set apart these characters, but traversal can really do a lot to make them feel different as well. Another potential idea that I think could be cool, but that I doubt will be in the full game, is wall jumping. If wall jumping is included, the ability to gain tremendous momentum while doing so could also be really interesting. Again, I think it's less likely that wall jumping will be added to the game, but something that I think is more likely is the ability to cling to walls for a temporary amount of time, regardless of if there's an edge present. Either way, both abilities would be really cool. That was much better that time, Kyle. You did really good.
I told you, it's just a character that I'm not familiar with. You need to give me like a couple minutes to like warm up.
I know, I'm sorry. Look, I'm not trying to bust your chops. I just, I want better looking gameplay for the video. That's all I have to say, okay?
Watch, like, the next match is going to be way better. I'm going to do way better next time.
All right, thank you, buddy. Next, we're going to get into combat, and we're going to start this conversation by talking about light combos. Very simply, I think that Black Panther's light combos will center around his fists and his palms. Essentially, he would fight like a hand-to-hand martial artist. These light combos wouldn't include any tech or any superpowers. It's purely just the core body strength of hand-to-hand combat. But moving into the heavy combo moveset, the heavy moveset could focus on the sharp claws of T'Challa's costume. Certain heavy combos could extend the reach of these attacks in the form of energy claw slashes that are visible in the air, similar to what you see in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite right here. Something like an after image of 3 large claw marks in the air could be really cool. And after playing some more Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I think something important to add for T'Challa is some attacks that are centered around his lower half, like his legs. I think it makes a lot of sense for a character like the Black Panther to be agile and dangerous at every part of his body. So I'd like to see every limb be somewhat dangerous. I also think it's possible that we'll see him go lower to the ground a lot and then rising back up to gain power for momentum style attacks. Now let's talk about projectiles. Every character in the game has a projectile, and obviously Black Panther isn't going to be any different. Projectiles for T'Challa could go in 2 different directions in my opinion. My first thought was that his projectiles could be focused around explosives, similar to the tech that we've seen him use in the MCU films. I think these projectiles will make the most sense as simple spheres that detonate on impact. However, as you progress through the skill tree, you can choose between timed explosives, triggered explosives, and proximity explosives potentially. And if explosives are used in T'Challa's projectiles, I think they could also be incorporated into the rest of his combat as a character. For example, this kind of tech can be used in his heavy combo finishers, but that all depends on how they're going to theme the combat of this character. The other possibility for his projectiles are throwing knives. While the explosives would probably have an arc to them, I think that these throwing knives would be a more direct strike. I also think it would be really cool if these knives can be used to pin enemies to walls if you use 2 or more knives. Or if you want to get really creative, if the Black Panther throws a certain amount of these knives at a wall, perhaps that could make it easier for him to scale in the future. And if not him, perhaps this could help other characters scale walls that they aren't necessarily supposed to. Anyway, let's move on to a conversation about... Bro, what are you doing?
What is the problem now?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to criticize you too much, but you're literally just like crouch, crouch, crouch. What is that? What is that even?
No, because I'm still learning how to play the character. I have a thing going. I'm trying. I have like a strategy.
You said you wanted to be a part of the video. I'm trying to let you be a part of the video. You gotta play the game right.
I think what it is it's the controller.
Don't just crouch. Actually play. Like, actually play the game. Don't just crouch over and over. All right?
It's the controller.
Well, why would the controller be making that happen?
I'm not good at this game. It's just the controller that's the problem right now. It's not me. It's the controller.
Why are you getting that emotional? It's not that serious.
I'm not getting upset. I'm just saying it's the controller that's the problem. I didn't do that. I didn't even notice that it was crouching like that until you even said something.
I trust you. Just do whatever. Look, you say you like this game. I trust you. Just play the game. Play the game. Play the game. My goodness. All right, let's talk about the potential heroic abilities for the Black Panther. First up, let's talk about the ultimate heroic. I don't really have a clever name for any of these abilities, but maybe you can give me some cool names in the comments below. Anyway, this is going to be a little out there, but I'm going to give my thoughts on it anyway. So even though in the movies, Shuri is portrayed as this genius of Wakanda, one of my favorite things about T'Challa as a hero growing up was his intellect. So I was thinking, what if his ultimate heroic is the ability to hack a certain amount of enemies in the area? And once these enemies are hacked, they could temporarily fight on your side. Perhaps if one XO is in the area, you could only control that specific enemy, and if you're surrounded by a bunch of fodder enemies and no larger enemies like the XOs, you could instead control that number of enemies at the same time. So you'd either have one really powerful enemy on your side or a small army of weaker enemies. I think it would also make sense if, when these enemies were hacked, that their health is restored, and perhaps that they could fall apart after their possession. Or potentially they detonate after their possession, damaging any enemies nearby. Now, honestly, I know this is a really far-off idea, but I think it would be really cool, and to me, it really represents the character in an interesting way. Now, another more likely possibility for the ultimate heroic could be an energy-absorbing mode for the Black Panther's suit, similar to what we saw in the MCU film. Something that allows T'Challa to absorb energy from melee and projectile attacks around him. And after a certain amount of time, the player could discharge that accumulated energy to either increase their attacks or to trigger a large explosion, similar to Kate Bishop's energy explosions that she does with her holograms. But those are my suggestions for the ultimate heroic abilities. I would really prefer the former, but I think we're probably going to get the latter. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think this second suggestion might actually work better as an intrinsic ability instead of an ultimate heroic. The same general idea with some minor tweaks. Anyway, let's get a little less ambitious and talk about the Assault Heroic. For the Assault Heroic ability, I was thinking very simple, and essentially this ability would be like Hulk's Assault Charge, only with claws incorporated instead of a Gamma Smash. So essentially, T'Challa would just run in one specific direction and then unleash his sharp claws on whoever's at the receiving end of his attack. I know, not the most creative idea, but I do think it's one of the more possible ideas that I've expressed. And with that, let's talk about Black Panther's support heroic. I think T'Challa's support heroic could potentially buff the defense of the surrounding Avengers, maybe using nanotechnology to slightly increase the defense of the surrounding heroes. Another possibility for this support heroic could be the ability to raise a shield that temporarily protects the team from any and all attacks, similar to the shield drones that do the same for nearby enemies until they're destroyed. You know, the ones that create the little yellow shields around everybody, and you gotta take them out. That only T'Challa's doing that for your Avengers team. And maybe those shields only last as long as you're really close to the Black Panther. Definitely something would need to be implemented to make sure that it's not too OP, but I think there's a way that you could really make this work, and I think it would be really cool. In general, there's something about the idea of Wakandan tech increasing the Avengers' defense that makes a lot of sense to me. And this probably doesn't belong in the heroic abilities section, but I just thought of it and I wanted to include it in the video. All the characters in the game have one of two abilities. You're either able to hack terminals or you're able to smash glass plate walls. And doing so will either reward you with new gear or help you rescue a civilian. So which do I think T'Challa will be? Well, that's kind of a complicated answer, because I think he's smart enough to hack terminals. After all, I suggested hacking for his ultimate heroic, but I also think he's extremely powerful enough to smash through a glass wall. But if I had to make a definitive prediction, I think he'll also be a hacking character. Again, I defined T'Challa by his intelligence, and it just makes a lot of sense to me for him to be smart enough to hack into any terminals in the game. And those are basically my predictions on the combat. But before I go, I wanted to give some opinions on takedowns and potential emotes. Starting off with takedowns, one takedown could feature the Black Panther going very low to the ground and then kicking his enemy to the sky with both feet. And then once they're in the air, tossing an explosive at them that will finish them off. Again, I really like the idea of the Black Panther fighting with all of his limbs. In addition, this incorporates the explosives that I think would make a lot of sense for the character as well. Another takedown that I had an idea for is a little bit more brutal, but another one that I think could be really cool. Black Panther could grab both arms of an enemy from behind, put their foot on their back, and then pull, either dislocating the arms or tearing them off, depending on if it's a robotic enemy or not. Again, very violent, but that really depends on whether this is a robotic enemy or whether this is a human enemy. For example, there's a takedown where Captain America decapitates a robot, but you don't really see him doing that to beekeepers. And let's talk about some of the ideas that I had for emotes for Black Panther. An interesting emote could be T'Challa checking some kind of hologram that is emitting from his wrist. Tony Stark kind of has emotes similar to this already, but I still think it would be really cool. Another emote could feature the Black Panther adjusting jewelry on himself, almost like he's trying to show it off. And lastly, I think another cool but overall basic emote for Black Panther could be him bowing and showing respect. Because he's such a traditionalist and because he is of a royal bloodline, I think this would make a lot of sense. You could even get a little cheeky with this one and give him a little bit of sarcasm depending on the way he bows. You'd be surprised how much personality you can work in with just a bow. Bro, are you serious? 8 losses?
No, it's not.
You didn't even win once.
No, it's
there
not
wasn't
like
even
that.
one
It's
time
not
that you
like
won.
It's
Look at that.
lose. No, you just saw the time.
I don't know what to
I
tell you.
lost.
I'm looking at the
Earlier, I
screen
was
right
doing
now and it
better.
says, or I was looking at the screen
No.
right then and it said, no, I didn't win once.
No,
That's what it said.
What are you talking about? Just give me a second to explain myself.
You told me that you could
that's not what I'm
get
saying.
me
Just
some
can
cool
you give me a
gameplay.
second? Stop
You told me that
talking
you
over
could
me.
play
What
Marvel
I'm
vs.
trying to
Capcom
say
Infinite, that
is
you could do it.
I was playing earlier and I was doing
All right.
fine, and then I
Look,
did,
whatever. Whatever you have to tell
I did
yourself.
arcade
I have to do
mode,
my
I did
outro. I gotta
really
go.
good, and then I
Okay.
did-
Thank
No,
you.
no,
I appreciate
no.
you playing.
I did
I
arcade
appreciate you
mode.
playing. Okay. So those are my predictions on how I think that the Black Panther will play once he's added to Marvel's Avengers. But as I said at the beginning of the video, that's just my speculation. We can't know for sure how this character is going to play until we get the full DLC. So what did you think of my predictions, and do you have any predictions of your own? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. If for some reason you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel for more. If you want to watch me play Marvel's Avengers and other video games live, check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/carrotscraps, and all my other social media, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram are at carrotscraps as well. So I want to thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you soon.
Just let me talk for a second, please.
Kyle, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I was just a little on edge, okay?
It's okay. It's just I never said that I was good at playing as that character. You totally weren't even listening to me. And then I'm getting yelled at for something I don't even know how to do.
Do you want me to buy you some sweetest fish? Do you want to buy you some sweetest fish?
Yeah, I would like that. I would like that.
Yeah, let's go get some Swedish fish.
Can we get Sour Patch Kids as well?